This video is brought to you by Aftershoot, a long-time partner and a sponsor of my channel. Stick around because their AI, culling and editing software is a total game changer. More details and a discount code at the end of the video. We are talking to Julian from Nikon. Is it Nikon? Nikon? How do you pronounce it?
You know what, I asked one of our Japanese colleagues that the other day and he said, I don't care.
Yeah, okay, I see.
Typically in Europe we say Nikon and in the States they say Nikon.
Exactly, I say it Nikon, but you know, people keep correcting me, so you know, I'll call it red from now on. We'll see how it goes. But just going back to the reality for now, we have some awesome equipment here. I use Nikon myself on daily basis for weddings, for filming, as you can see right now, and I really love the cameras. This is a Z6 Mark II, but I'm kind of lacking lenses. Right now I'm with the very first line of the Z lens, or is it S lenses rather, Z mount S lenses. So I want to upgrade. So tell me what's the newest right now, and what should I look for if I want to go from, let's say, 35mm to something brighter, something of higher quality, let's say. What's the newest right now?
We're in a great position at the moment. In the last year or so, we've launched like well over a dozen new lenses. So our lens lineup is, I would say for most people, nearly complete at this point. I've actually just pulled out a couple of lenses to show you we're not just launching telephoto lenses in the highest quality and the absolute best. So this is the 600mm f4. You're not going to want to use that all the time, partly because of its size and weight, but also because it costs £15,000. But we've also launched the 600 S6.3, which you can shoot very much handheld. And for a 600mm to be handheld like that, to be as lightweight as it is, makes it an incredible lens to pack away if you're a wildlife photographer, sports photographer, photographer shooting aviation, all that kind of stuff. We've also launched, and this is a lens I'm really, really excited about. This is called Plena. It's a 135mm 1.8. That's a pretty staggering piece of optical technology to get yourself to 1.8 aperture in something as far-reaching focal length-wise as a 135mm. Our R&D team was so proud of this lens when they produced it that they gave it a name. We only have two lenses in our S line that have a name. We have the Noct, which is about a £10,000 cinema lens. Effectively, it's a 0.95 aperture. So this Plena really represents something in image quality which is far surpasses anything that they've seen for a very long time. So we're really excited about that lens for portraiture, for interesting lighting techniques, for deep space astro. Some of our Nikon school team are using that.
So is this a line of lenses, or is this a single lens?
This is a single lens within the Z system.
What was the need for this kind of lens on the market?
Sure, so I guess 135 is an interesting focal length. It lets you have quite a lot of separation from your subject, so you can be quite far away. Often with things like the 85 to 135, photographers who are shooting people are looking to catch them candidly or catch them slightly differently, and having that separation lets you do that. It also gives you much greater depth of field. Obviously, the longer your focal length, the greater the depth of field, the greater the separation between your background and your foreground. And obviously at 1.8, that gets even better and even sharper.
Absolutely. So for those who just start out with Nikon right now, tell me, why should we go for a bigger lens like this? So for example, if you compare it to mine over there, this is, I believe, 62mm front diameter, and this is 82. Obviously, the size of the glass matters for the quality. But what else do I get with this lens?
Well, I don't know that that's quite true, and I wouldn't necessarily say that this lens is right for everyone, right? Okay. It's very much the highest quality of the lens offering that we have, so it comes at a price tag, and it has a very specific use case. All of our S-line lenses, we would absolutely say carry the same level of extraordinary image quality, but there will be some focal lengths and apertures which kind of strike at the heart of a particular use case and are particularly effective.
So what's the best use for this particular lens?
This kind of a lens is portraiture, but then also the Nikon school team have told me in unequivocal terms that deep space astro is something you can really get into with this. I've seen landscape photographers shooting with 600 mils. I've seen portrait photographers shooting at 14 mil. In the end, it comes down to your creative kind of desire and what you're trying to pull out.
Okay, brilliant. And just a couple more words about these monstrosities here. So we have the 600 F. Oh wow, that's heavy. F4. This is a massive lens. I see loads of rings and buttons on it. Can you tell me, like, walk me through what's happening on it?
All of these rings are configurable, so you can basically customize them to do whatever you want. So they could change your aperture, they could change your focusing style, they could change any number of different things. But what you've also got on this side is a teleconverter.
Okay.
So this can go from 600, it's got a 1.4 times teleconverter on it. So we can go from 600 f4 to, you're going to test my maths now, 840 at f6 and a bit. So that basically gives you two lenses in one lens. We have the same thing with our 400mm f2.8.
Can you tell me what do I need to do to actually switch it? Can I just do it on the fly, or?
Yeah.
So, and nothing changes on the camera, just literally just bigger lens immediately. You came up with something new right now, or recently. Similar length, 600, but this is 6.3, f6.3. Why this lens?
Well, it's a fifth of the price.
Okay.
It's less than half the weight, and it's less than half the height. Yeah. So suddenly it makes 600mm, which is a focal length typically reserved for the best in wildlife, the best in sports, only pros. It suddenly makes it accessible to, you know, those hobbyists who really do want that extra focal length, but haven't been able to reach quite far to that. It's really exciting. We've done the same thing with the 800mm as well.
So this is way lighter than the other one. I can see how this is very useful for, as you said, sports especially, because you have to move around fast. I suppose with a big lens you can kind of sit around and hide in the bushes.
It's much harder to shoot that handheld.
Oh, yeah,
right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Whereas that's like eminently possible.
Yeah, you can actually hold it properly. Yeah, definitely. You won't be kind of losing your focus, you won't be losing your aim. So yeah, definitely, it's a great lens. Talk me through the camera that really interests me as well. We have it here. This is the new Zf.
This is the Zf, yeah. So this launched at the back end of last year. We launched a couple of years ago the Zf-C. So that was the first camera that basically used the design inspiration of the FM2, one of the most iconic Nikon film cameras ever to have been released, to create a camera that looks like a film camera but has the mind of a mirrorless. And this is the Zf, which is its big brother. So the Zf-C was an APS-C crop sensor camera. This is a full frame camera, but it's also got the same brain in it as the Z8 and the Z9. Okay. The Z9, our flagship camera, won Camera of the Year a couple of years ago. The Z8, its little brother, won Camera of the Year this year. These are two of the best, like objectively the best cameras in the world. And this has exactly the same processing power as those. So it's a really, really staggering camera. It's important not to be too focused on its beauty because it's a pretty intelligent one too.
Absolutely, it's beautiful. I remember when this wasn't out yet, and the rumors were saying that it's going to have the Z8 sensor and the processor. How much did we get from Z8 in it?
So you've got the same chip, you don't have the same sensor. This doesn't have a blackout, it doesn't have a stacked sensor, which is what the Z8 and the Z9 have. Yeah. But absolutely, things that you will notice as a benefit is the autofocusing power is more or less the same as in a Z8 and a Z9. And the speed at which it operates as well will be the same, and that's all due to this new processor, the Expeed 7.
If I was going from anything, from my Z6 Mark II right now to anything, I'll probably skip 7 right now and just go straight to 8, just because it's such a beast basically.
Yeah, well, watch the space this year. There might be something else happening.
Oh really? Okay. So can you tell us what it is?
Absolutely not.
Okay, brilliant. Well, I kind of suspect what it could be, but if we can't talk about it, then we can't. What is the entry level for, if someone was starting right now with Nikon, what would you recommend them getting?
If you're looking for an entry-level full-frame camera, then the Z5 is a phenomenal companion, and at about £1,000, it's kind of a useful place to start. We do have entry-level APS-C cameras. The Z50 is a wonderful little camera that takes some absolutely incredible photos and lots of people have as a second body. And then we also have the Z30, which doesn't have a viewfinder and is actually geared more towards a kind of vlogger. So it really depends on what you're looking for in terms of those early cameras.
This is probably the camera that I'm going to get for my wife, just because she doesn't like a heavy camera that I use. I use a grip, I use 2 batteries in it, so it's quite heavy with a big lens. She prefers something small but still capable, so this is probably perfect for her. But you mentioned the Z30. I don't think I've seen it already, but Z50 is the next one in line, is that right? Or Z50? Yeah. Oh, okay, so Z30, then Z50, then Z5, Z6, 7, 8.
So there's the ZFC as well, so that's the little brother of
yes,
this.
yeah, FC, yeah, of course, yeah. So which ones are crop sensor? There's ZFC and Z50, is that right?
ZFC, Z50, Z30.
Z30, okay, brilliant. And everything else is full frame? Everything else is full frame. Amazing. I love that you can just swap body really quick and have the same amazing lenses and stay with them forever, basically. I don't know if you can tell me much, but can you comment on the Red acquisition at all?
Only that we're incredibly excited about it. It's definitely the partnership, apart from Comedy Wildlife Awards, it's the partnership that the team has been most excited about. We're as excited as I think the rest of the world is about kind of getting our teeth into it. The reality is that with these huge acquisitions and agreements, there's now, for good reason, quite a certain amount of time that needs to be taken for the wisdom of the two brands to figure out what is the best version of integration between Nikon and Red. How do we serve both Red customers, Nikon customers, and whatever that future hybrid customer looks like? How do we serve them best through that union of the two brands? And that takes a bit of time for obvious reasons.
Absolutely. Well, there's so many questions that people have, I have, about this acquisition. I don't know if you can answer anything from it, but for example, the mounts, the Red cameras currently have Canon mounts.
I'm afraid you are walking down a tunnel through which there is no end.
Okay, so you can't tell me more. Okay, that's good. Right, so do you know when we're going to find out more about this?
I also can't tell you that.
It's a shame. I'll definitely watch the space. Brilliant. Okay, well, thank you very much. That was an absolute pleasure. I love the cameras, love the lenses. I'm sure I'm going to get more, and this is really interesting to me, especially because I do weddings myself. This is kind of long for a wedding, but still an amazing lens. But yeah, this is really exciting to me. I'm sure I'm going to get some of it at least. Maybe not the 15 grand, but some of it will land in my bag at some point. Well, thank you very much for your time. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Have you ever dreamt of a personal photo editing genie? Meet Aftershoot, an AI that doesn't just edit, but also picks the best shots. Just upload your RAW files, set your AI profile, and watch the magical unicorns do their work. It culls and edits photos in your style, giving you the precious me time you've been longing for. And for the perfectionist, you can still fine-tune your photos in your preferred editing software. Your first 30 days are on me, totally free, no catch, just loads of fun. Aftershoot works offline, so nothing can slow you down regardless where you are. If you ever feel lost, their 24/7 support is always there to help you. Use link aftershoot.co/Conrad for 20% discount on any Aftershoot plan. Enjoy your discount and spend the time you save on making more money.